I don't know what you.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and everything in between? Hey, it's Friday night. It's 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and you guys are at your place for the Unfiltered experience, where we do things and say things to expand your mind, to increase your perspective, your confidence, open your eyes to the beauty, the amazement that's out in the world today. Oh, yeah. I'm Christopher Rausch, your No Excuses coach, and I'm joined by Scooby Dooby, Scotty
Your
Goyette.
brother from another mother, Scott David Goyette.
What's going on, beautiful people? It is Friday night. It's time to party and have a great time here on the Unfiltered experience. And we're excited you guys are here, whether you're here live on the replay. Thank you for being a part of this amazing crew called the Unfiltered crew. And as always, got to say this at the beginning of the show as well. As always, go check us out at www.theunfilteredexperience.com. theunfilteredexperience.com. Here, let me just put it up there in case you'd like to see it on the screen. Me and Scott tonight are coming to you. We're grooving. We're feeling good. How you feeling, Scott, man? How's your week been?
Chris, I'm just grooving, bro.
Just grooving? Yeah. You just look like you're cruising in a 6'4" down Sunset. Just like, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Cruising.
Just rented a BMW, got the top down, just cruising, just listening to some old jams. I'm doing it.
And what kind of jams would you be playing in a convertible?
You know what's funny? When I go to California, I'm so typical. I put on Ventura Highway by America because it just makes me feel good. It just sounds right.
Ventura Highway.
And then the boulevard. It's just such a good jam. Yeah.
Jam. My jammy jam. Yeah. My jammy jam. We are going to be jamming tonight. We got Facebook user in the house says, woohoo. Oh, hello, guys. Love you both. It's Lynn Serrano. What's up, Lynn Serrano? How are you doing up there in Montana, Lynn Serrano? Tell us how you're doing tonight. This is Love Radio on the Unfiltered experience with Chris and Scott.
Just a little bit of love.
The Love Master. You have a character about the Love Master, don't you? Love the shades, guys.
I can't see anything right now. I can't see to begin with.
I'm wearing my wife's glasses. I can't wear these kind of glasses. I look like a fucking cop or a porn star.
Chris, all I can see, this is literally what I see right now. I can see your mouth. You look kind of like a beetle, and all I can see is a giant amount of forehead on me. That's all I see. It's great. I love it.
Oh, you know what? We just might as well tell the whole world that we're on acid right now.
All right.
Come and join us. Let's watch The Wizard of Oz and listen to Pink Floyd and experience the dark side of the moon. Who wants to experience the dark side of the moon with me and Scott?
Ah, yes.
Let's do this. Let's do this. What's up? Mary Kay's in the house. Got Lynn saying, I can't wait to see you in person, little brother. Seeing Lynn.
You guys can FaceTime me at that time as well.
Yeah,
I would appreciate that.
We will. Going to be seeing Lynn. I'm going to be meeting our guest who we're going to be introducing here in just a moment. We're just kind of setting the tone to have a great conversation tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So we appreciate you being here.
Chris, I'm thinking we should just jump into a Cadillac convertible and just reproduce Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas right now.
You and I could do it. That's for sure.
I'm pretty sure I could pull that off. I've had Vegas bachelor parties that rival Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, without a question. Wow.
Yeah,
I'm not proud of it, but I'm kind of proud.
Yeah, you're proud. You're proud.
A little bit. My old self. Let's put it this way. I'm glad I had those experiences, and I'm really glad they were over. But they were some interesting times.
I agree. I'm glad that I got married younger or older and had kids older.
I'm glad I'm where I'm at right now, and I'm glad I was where I was then.
Well, I'm glad you're where you're at right now because we're having a great time right now. Yes. And we got so Lynn has to keep putting her thing in there. If we know it's Facebook user, she says, yes, Scott Goyette, love you. Love you.
Bug coming at you, Lynn, right here.
Love Bug. That's like a Kiss song. Love Bug.
Feels right. It feels right. I like it. I like that she's kind enough to come up with a great nickname for me that feels like a Kiss song, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, getting serious with ourselves now. Let's put on our real glasses. And
Can you tell them we're not on acid and that was just a joke? Because I feel like there's a few people right now saying,
that was a joke.
Are they really on acid?
So now we're going to put on our real glasses and say, okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be talking about personal development, personal growth tonight here on the Unfiltered Experience. We invite you to write down all the things that you come to your mind and explore the opportunities that await you by opening your confidence and taking responsibility for your life. I love it. I love how the Superman, it just reminds me of Superman. Like, okay, now we don't recognize that he's Christopher Rausch anymore because he put fucking glasses on.
There you go.
Seriously, guys, we appreciate you being here. We just thought we'd start the show just a little bit differently, have a little fun. It is Friday night, and there is a lot of chaos and crap going on in the world. So Scott and I come to you guys every single week to bring you the vibration that will lift you up and create some prosperity and some opportunity in your life. So we appreciate you being here, whether you're live or on the replay. And I'm just going to get into it tonight, man. I'm excited for our guests. I'm not even going to do our normal thing that we do with HHH. Tonight we have an amazing guest. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's a coach. She's a tremendous individual that does things in her community. And we're super excited to have Debbie Bettendorf here on the Unfiltered Experience. Welcome to the show, my dear Debbie.
Oh, hello, gentlemen. I'm so excited. I did not get the sunglass memo. I would have worn mine, but I got this memo. Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers.
It's Friday night and it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
So I'm the weirdo who comes to this party bringing an interesting new sake. It's called the Snow Maiden. I know. A man
Snow
Snow Maiden. I don't care.
Sake.
The Snow Maiden.
It's a cloudy Nigori, or how you say it. Cheers.
The cloudy, what? I don't even understand that shit.
I don't even know what I just said. I'm just reading stuff and pretending I'm smart.
I think you already had the sake. I think the sake bottle's empty. No, I'm teasing.
Actually, it was delicious, and I just drank it in real life, and I'll do it again.
There you go.
Are we allowed to do that on the air? You know what's cool
so.
Here in Southern California? Mark and Brian. You guys probably heard of Mark and Brian. They used to be a famous LA newscaster, like a FM radio station team in the morning. And once a year, they would do a really cool thing. They would invite a police officer to come in the studio, and they would drink from 6 in the morning till 10 in the morning. And they would do a breathalyzer after each drink, and they would talk about, okay, how do you feel right now? Well, you just blew a 0.08, so you would definitely be drunk. And they would get to the point that they're drunk, and it would be so hysterical. They would do it once a year, but it raised awareness for drunk against.
I love that. I've seen that. I've seen someone do that, not in that capacity as a police officer and on a show, but I've seen them do that and show the difference. And it's very interesting because it's fun to watch it, because we've all been to parties. We've been to the sober one, we've been to the drunk one, and it's really funny, like, because we all know when we go and we're like, I'm not drinking tonight with your drunk friend, and you're like, am I really like her, or am I really like him? And you're like,
you're the designated driver, and you're like, oh wow, that's eye opening, yeah, for sure.
I realized that nobody stands on a table dancing looking cool when you're sober. Yes, because I was always like, I'm really fun, and then I'm going, man, maybe I am an idiot. So
I've done that too. I've been the sober guy for a while, and I'm like, oh my God, do I really do all that? And I'm like, oh yeah, Chris, and more.
Yeah. Well, life's too short to be boring, right? So
yeah. My new nickname is 9 o'clock Scott. I do everything that's impactful during the day, and it's usually better impact. At night, I might have been fun at 20, but at 51, I'm 9 o'clock Scott. I'm in bed bracing for the next day, just going into my dream state, just, in theta reprogramming the unconscious mind. It's all good stuff now.
That's right. Just the little day drinker we have over there. 9 o'clock Scott is the day drinker.
Oh, by 9 o'clock, I'm going to tuck my daughter in and say I love her, and I'm going to be asleep, and that's okay with me.
That's awesome.
Come on, man. Stay up watching MTV Cribs or something.
This sounds scary, Chris. I'm not that guy anymore.
Really? So how was your week on the yacht? I'm just fucking.
Present moment. Come back to the present moment, Chris. It's all that matters.
Look at his face get rosy.
No, a really good friend of mine. He's looking into buying a yacht, and so he took me out into a yacht last week, and so Chris is just explaining the fact that I did probably party a little bit.
He had a beautiful
himself. If you're on a yacht, you got to have some cocktails, right?
I had a lot of them. I'm not gonna be dishonest with you guys, but my traditional 9 o'clock Scott at home in Austin, Texas, is less exciting than yacht Scott.
Yeah, you think. Frank, I always think about Old School. Old School was one of my favorite movies with Will
Ferrell.
Yeah, Will Ferrell, and then Frank the Tank. That's what I have to start thinking. Like, come on, Chris, like they used to hate when I wouldn't drink because I would be the life of the party.
So,
Come on, Chris.
so Scott, you're in Texas. I didn't know that.
I'm in Austin, Texas. Where are you in Ohio?
I'm in Ohio.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. They say, round on the ends and high in the middle.
There you go.
Ohio, get it?
Oh,
I get it.
Nice. You're gonna fit in great.
You're gonna do well here.
I'm like,
do well.
chatty cat. I'm getting in there. I gotta interject.
You've been there before.
Yes. So we got some beautiful people in the house. We got Mary Kay in the house. We got Andrew Heston. Thank you, Andrew. He says ready for some positivity to shift this weekend for sure. Absolutely appreciate you being here. We got Sean Steven Benson says, yay, good evening, my friend. Good evening. Thank you for being here. We got Lynn in the house, of course. She says, I love you, soul sister. And we got Robert Broker in the house. Hey, greetings and salutations, most excellent people. So Debbie, in all seriousness, thank you for being here. And I was honest when I told you I did some research on you.
Oh, you did?
And, yeah, I did.
Okay.
So we have two of your high school buddies that we're going to bring on camera in here in just a second. No, I'm just kidding.
Who are they?
Oh,
I'm excited.
You know what's funny? He'll do that stuff to me too, where I'm like, oh, I really wanted to see who it was.
So, in other words, Debbie, you just wait for it. It's more than likely a joke. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to get excited.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it felt good, didn't it? It's like, oh,
yeah, it's like Christmas for a second.
So we're getting to know you. I'm getting to know you. I just recently was introduced to you. I've seen you on the internet quite a few times. I know you do your show with Lynn and everything, and I see your beautiful face on all sorts of different things. But when I went and actually Googled you, one of the first articles that came up was talking about how that you are a supreme advocate for the youth and in drugs, and advocating for the self-love part of the journey. And that's what you and I talked about off camera before we started the show. So talk to us about that journey. Why is the youth so important to you in advocating for their rights and for them to have a positive aspect in life?
Right. Well, thank you for saying that. And also thank you for having me. I'm excited. So at my point, the point that I am in my life right now, you when you hear your folks, when you're a child say, oh, we're wiser, we've lived more years, and you think, oh God, I know it all. No, you really don't. And they are 100% on point. Wisdom with experiences and life lessons learned. You get to a point at our age and things become more clear. And then you realize I really don't know much at all. So I'm on a journey right now to find out who I am. But I think, let me just talk about youth and how I've always been extremely involved in the schools ever since my kids went to school, and I have adult children now. So that's been a lot of years that I've been in the schools, and I just know that it is a tough. I feel like growing up in any generation, it's tough, but especially for these kids because the comparison game when we were in school was, oh, who's on the cheerleading squad with me? Who's on the basketball team with me? They're better. Now it's on your phone. You get to see people all over the world, what they're achieving. And the comparison game is on another level. It's like on steroids level. And so that's tough. And then, we have a huge crisis in the United States with drugs and, opioids, and it's taking over. And, the fact of the matter is there are more people who have died from drug overdoses that were in wars combined. So it's like, wow, we have a serious problem. And then when you delve into it a little bit more, you do realize it's mental health most of the time. There are times where someone's injured and they've been put on pain pills, they get addicted. Okay, so I'm not saying every drug addict, it's because they have mental health issues. Sometimes it's peer pressure and they try it and then they have an addictive personality. There's all kinds of reasons why. But the fact of the matter is we've got a whole lot of people, not just kids, in our country who are addicted to all kinds of drugs. So in my own community, I'm involved with a program called Keys to Success, which was founded actually, Scott, by a guy that lives in Texas and Dallas area. His name's Gary Von Kennel, and he is from this area. And when our town was extremely devastated with drug overdoses and deaths for several years, and he came to town and started this program in our largest Chillicothe City School District. I immediately got on board with it. I'm still involved with it. We're going into our 8th year. And it's a program where you get kids to voluntarily sign up for the program, and they know that they're going to be randomly drug tested at any point. If they get a dirty test, they do not get kicked out. They get that, we get them the help that they need. And 9 times out of 10, kids are experimenting. A lot of their parents are, maybe using, right? So, and they may not be getting, a lot of attention, and there's all kinds of different reasons. But the bottom line is, it's a great program. I'm highly involved in it. I believe in it 100%. And I just really, care about people. And when I have my own company, and the thing that I do is I'm an independent contractor for different businesses to do their advertising and marketing. And Chillicothe City Schools is my largest client. And I'm around a lot. And I'm, now that my kids are out of school, I'm still around a lot. And I see sadness. I see self-esteem issues. I see a lot of things at the school. And I just want to do all I can to help.
I love your heart already. I love your heart. Actually, it's something, I'll let Scott explain it, but the reason why I wanted you on this show versus the Raw Unscripted coach, because I do 2 shows a week, was because of your involvement with the youth, because Scott has a program called Go Love Now.
Oh,
I'll
wow.
let you take it away and kind of share that with,
I
wanted to make it a little surprise for you both, but yeah, so Scott, tell her about Go Love Now.
So everything that you're saying, when you're talking about
the logo behind him.
Yeah, you can't see it. Like you probably doesn't spot it, but it's just everywhere behind me and all over me. So what I'm hearing a lot too is, the drugs and the things that a lot of us are looking at. Of course, and I know there's symptomatic things. The drugs are, I'm not happy with myself, so how can I either escape from this world in some escapist way that's not suicide and is a place to hide or a place to go for the moment, so I can come back and tolerate this moment. I get it. I fully get it, because I was in that space in one point in time too, where I did everything I was supposed to do. You find the pretty cheerleader, you find the cute girl, you find the success in sports, and all the things we're told to do to say, look at me now, and like, here I am. And then you elevate it to, you get the good job, you buy the house, and you're like, is this it? Like, I just did everything that I was told would make me happy, and I was happy in moments. There's a moment where I'm going, oh, that was a really nice moment. And then the moment's over, and there I am in myself, miserable. And that escapism was so appealing to me. So I know that source, universe, creator, consciousness wanted me to go through this hell so that I could come back and be a very different teacher, one who's super relatable and one who's super transparent, super authentic. And I'm really good at what I do, not because I'm special, but because I went through many hardships so that I can relate to others. And so when I go into the schools, and this is what I really wanted to talk to you about, is I will go into one of the hardest to work with schools, and they say, you can't reach our students, you don't understand. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And then I connect with their kids and they go, I don't know how you did it. And then like clockwork, 3, 2, 1, this is what's going to happen. You created too many emotions in the school. The staff was a little uncomfortable. Kids were crying. We had more people talking about suicides. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Do you not understand what we just did? Was we just cracked open their I'm hiding, I won't communicate, to I want to see you, I feel seen, I'm connected. And so we're facing a very difficult challenge right now, because I don't know exactly about the program that you're working with. I know what the program is that I've created, and I've watched other programs, and a lot of them go in and they dumb their programs down, or they soften it so they can be a check mark. Something like no place for hate in Texas. Okay, anybody who comprehends anything about universal law and listens to that, no place for hate. I hear the word no and hate.
Yeah.
Are you effing kidding me?
Yeah.
So to start with, whoever created your logo and your name sucks. And I want to say that because it's insane. So you're hearing no place for hate. So bottom line, we have problems. When we come in and we work with the kids, the adults are the problem. Let's talk about the kids, because the adults, listen, adults are not bad. We're not evil. There's nothing wrong with us. Here's the problem. Layers upon layers upon layers of poor programming. Nobody's fault. It's the way we've been doing it. So for those of us who are fortunate enough to have awakened in some capacity and stripped away old identity and sit here naked saying, Something needs to be done. What can we do to help our youth and our collective in spite of those who have been programmed so that we can start this drastic shift of awakening with our youth? That's what I want to just focus on today, because I've been having this communication and conversation with so many intelligent adults, and I don't want to say we're few and far between in intelligence. I want to say we're few and far between in willingness to awake, willingness to say maybe everything I believe is wrong, willingness to strip away all identity, stand here naked and say, I want a more beautiful world. They are more capable than me because I have the whole burden of all this stuff that I think I know. And so what do we do with that?
I'm telling you, everything you're saying, I've been in meetings after meetings with discussions just like this. And I'm really happy to say that the people that I work with in the city school district, and when we've had guest speakers who have broken people open and people have cried and let things out and spoken about things that they've been holding so deeply inside, that was embraced. That was embraced at our school. If there were any negative comments, I was not privy to those. Everything I heard was positive. We even had Troy Gray is a pastor in town, and his church is ginormous, but he has recently, well, it's been quite some time now, but he works with rehabbing drug and alcoholics, drug addiction mostly. And he had a team of, I call them a team because they are men and women that he's worked with over the years that are now, they're always going to be an addict, right? I mean, we know that, but they are recovered, okay, recovering addicts. And he had them all come to the school and sit up on the stage, and they stood up one by one and told a Cliff Note version of their life. And I am telling you, I know at least 50 kids stayed afterwards and wanted to talk to them, and they bonded with, there was a bunch of different stories. So a lot of kids could identify with each of those. But the other part of this is, you know, I commend you too, Scott. You said you've gone through some things and you can speak from an open, genuine heart. And Scott Jones, who I had on my show on Wednesday night, is also that person. And he's been 18 years, not, a recovering addict, but he has given his life to helping every age group, not just kids, but it's incredible what people can do to turn their life around for the good to help other people. So thank you for that. But, and I think I understood you correctly. You used, Scott?
I'm a weird individual because I'm one of these people, seriously, like I was drinking like nonstop throughout college. And then one day somebody said, why don't you play college football as a college basketball player? And I literally just stopped drinking that day so I could do summer sessions so I could play football my senior year. And everyone's like, how did you do that? And I'm like, and there was no repercussion, nothing. I was just fine.
That's crazy.
So I'm not normal.
Oh no.
I'm the same way though. I'm the same way. I just quit.
That's good. That's good that you can do that because so many people cannot.
So my point is, and this is where I'm different than a lot of abusers. I know that abusers get triggered, get into the space, and then there's a numbness that they chase. I'll sit there one day and I'll be doing ecstasy for like 2 years straight. And I'm like, and I've had that. I had the alcohol, and then I'm like, boring. I'm going to play football this year. And everyone's like, you don't want to go to the party? I'm like, oh, I'm going to the party. I'm going to hang out with the girls, but I'm not going to drink. And they're like, how? And I'm like, because I'm playing football now. I want touchdowns. And they're like, but I don't get it. And I'm like, well, that's your problem.
That's very rare.
It's very, I'm not what I'm saying. I'm not normal with that. And so like, I'll literally do cocaine for like a ton of years. And then I find out I'm having a daughter and I'm done. And so, and like, I'll never say I'm not going to do anything again. Even plant medicine. I'm a massive proponent of plant medicine. So I don't discourage plant medicine, but I can go to any space. I've been on ayahuasca, a ketamine journey. I can go to any of that with meditation now. So if you were to say, would you like to go to Iquitos and do an ayahuasca journey? Maybe. I'm not going to say no to it, but I don't need to. I can go to that same space through deep meditation. So I do things until I'm done with them, and then I'm done with them. So
you're very
weird. I know.
I wasn't going to call you weird. But
No, it's a
very
weird thing because I hear other people
I'm
go,
the same
yeah,
way.
but don't you
You
want it right
can
now?
decide. I
yeah,
quit
like
alcohol,
not craving,
smoking,
like not
opioids.
needing it, right? I know but you know, so I guess for me to answer now, to get back to like, well, you're asking me, I think, my thoughts on what we can do, and I really believe, like with our program, having the real deal people come in and present, but then we got to follow up, right? We can't just let these kids be cracked open and then go, okay,
That's
good
the
luck with
piece.
that.
The
You know,
integration is
so
massive.
yeah. And so we, in our program, Keys to Success, and thank God it doesn't have any negative words in it, because you would have been ripping us.
But
Um,
you see it too, though. But you see
yeah,
it too, right? It's
yeah,
weird.
yeah. So it's so I'm involved with it, but we really have the students own the program. So Greg Phillips, who is the leader, he's a school teacher and he's a city councilman. He's like, he does it all. He's really an exuberant personality. The kids love him. So he goes and he picks these, they apply to become an ambassador for the program. So we have 20 plus kids who have been selected to be an ambassador for the program. So they own it. And then they talk to their friends about, you got to be in it, dude. Like, this is a great program. And the thing is that I didn't even mention is, while it's called Keys to Success, which are really keys, like keys that you're learning along the way to use in real life to keep you on the path of being a productive, good citizen. It also, Hernstein dealership in our local community gives us a brand new car every year. So one student that's in the program wins a brand new car, a junior or a senior. But like, we have Ohio Health, who we design t-shirts. They paid for those. So every kid in the program gets a t-shirt. Every kid in the program that graduates gets a orange sash to show that they proudly stayed drug-free or tried to. If they didn't, they get the help that they need. They still get the orange cord at graduation, as long as they stay in the program. And that was, of all people, it's so funny. It's the Moose Lodge gives us money to buy those cords. They're super involved. Our community has come together to do everything that they can for this program and our kids that are in it. So, we're trying to keep a lot of the, we can't help everyone, right? But inside the school and behind those four walls, the administration, the teachers, they want to help these students so they can jump off that hamster wheel that maybe they're on, because that's all they know, and have a really good life.
So everything you
as
said.
part of that go ahead.
You can go ahead, Chris. I was just going
to say, as part of that program, because I think about this, I'm actually starting a podcast talking about how we can help parents build a connection with their kids, no matter what age they are. So it's all fine. I think about that being great. They're in the schools and doing that. But is there a component of that helps them deal with the stuff that's happening at home? Maybe mom and dad aren't on board. They really don't care. But how do they get that child to disassociate themselves from their parents' expectations, what their parents are doing, and break that generational cycle that might be happening in the home?
Well, this is really cool. I want to say two things about that real fast. One is this. One is that the other, kind of like off of what you and I, Scott, what the question that you asked about, checking boxes. You made a comment, and that really hit me, about, here's this program, we're checking all the boxes, and that really annoys me. And I know, because I'm a feeling person. I'm like, this is working because listen to what this kid just said and look at this. And I'm like, but I mean, listen, and I'm also a businesswoman, and I also know, show me the data. I get it. But with a program like this, you cannot capture what these kids are telling you inside of
There's
a
two
grid.
pieces. There's a data component, there's emotional and growth component. Right. You get it.
Right. But with that being said, our juvenile and probate court judge, Jeff Benson, his wife was just on here saying hello. He worked with Sherry Smitley, his right-hand woman, and we get $15,000 in grant money for this program every single year to buy tangible. There's protocol. I mean, we got to follow all the rules. You can't just give money away or anything, but we buy giveaways. So the kids at the end of the year, when we have this big celebration, all the kids from freshman to senior, they are in a drawing for 15,000 buys a lot of different things, right? So a lot of people get prizes. We have 5 scholarships from 5 different people, you know, in our community, giving scholarships that the kids have to apply for those. But my point to all of this is, Christopher, the data that the juvenile and probate court needs in order to legitimately give us this money has helped our program track and follow the kids that need help. So what happens is, this is amazing, and all I do is watch it happen. I have nothing to do with I'm involved with the program, but the people and what they're doing in order to get the data, but Sherry Smitley is amazing, and Judge Benson will say, I have the ideas and she makes it happen. And she has amazing ideas of how to, in order for us to continue to get the grant money. Yeah. But in the process, you're capturing all of these kids that really need extra support to where we can get them what they need. So isn't that amazing?
It is on
Truly
point.
remarkable.
So you said a couple things that totally resonate with me. Like, one of the things you talked about is the program becomes theirs. And that was my entire goal too, because one of the things I wanted to do was just get a few ambassador type teachers who I call them champions, you call them ambassadors. So
Yeah,
same thing,
like
it's just
it.
verbiage.
Totally.
And I love the word champion, because when you talk about they champion a cause.
Yeah.
So we had a champions group, but what happened was I'd go in and teach the champions group, and then they need somebody who's kind of a mentor or an ambassador to support them, to just keep inspiring them when I'm gone, because I'm in for an hour on a Friday and then I'm gone. And so what happens so your issue is specifically drugs, it seems like, or alcohol or some addiction. The issues that we were facing in some of these schools that were in East Austin, there was racism, abuse at home, there was just so many isms that they're dealing with, plus alcoholism, drugs. I mean, it was anything you could think of. So there's so much negative. There's essentially, it sounds like what I'm hearing from you guys is you hit a space of rock bottom, in the sense that you're like, we have a real problem here and people want to participate. This that I see in most of these schools that I'm going into, it's almost like they're like, this is just the way it is. They're not even seeing a rock bottom. Like, you don't understand our neighborhood. It's the way it is. So because they haven't, to me, it looks like rock bottom, but they just see it as life. And your community's going, what happened to our community? They're saying our community has always been nothing. We're just nothing. We're worthless. And so I'm going in there saying, let me help you. Let me help you. And they go, who are you? Who are you? What's your deal? Why are you here? And those,
it's really difficult to change people who think that there isn't
water
to change, and they have to want it. So lucky for me that I'm in a community where people are recognizing, and have been for, almost a decade now. Everyone's been taking action. And, we have other programs in other schools too, like Drug Free Clubs of America, and they're doing a great job trying to just, it's a matter of creating awareness. And just like, you don't know what you don't know. So these kids that are in the school, if they're not understanding the severity of the problem and they think that they're at a party, why not just try even marijuana? And it could be laced with fentanyl now. You'll die, dude.
It's crazy.
You need to know these things. It's not like when we were in school and, I'll try it once, it's fine. No, you can die. This is real happening. This is what is going on in our country. And, we're having parents grieving their children and children grieving their parents. The parents are like, oh, it's just some weed. Oh, it's just some weed. Well, really? Who'd you get it from? Because now you're dead. I need to be so brutal, but like, we got to stop tiptoeing around the issues here. Like, it's a big freaking deal. And I just think it's great what you're doing, Scott, because, so for us, it's addiction. So, you go, it's like, let's stay in our lane, because, we want to do it all. But realistically, if you create a program, that program can't do it all. We got to figure out how we can make this work. And at the same time, when we're encouraging to be against drugs, we're also encouraging you to understand if something else is happening in your mind and heart and soul that you're not dealing with, and you're wanting to cover it up by getting high, you know, to have a quick fix because you're in so much pain. And I see it, you guys. I mean, I've been at that, and I'm not in the school that often. I'm not a teacher. I'm their advertising and marketing person, but I'm just involved with the Keys program. So I'm around it enough, and I orchestrate like the events and things so that I can get speakers in there and have stuff going on. And I sit and watch the kids, and it blows my mind what sadness I see. It's insane. I even asked this one kid who's an ambassador for the program. This one kid came and picked up his t-shirt, and I was watching him all the while he was in line, and his shoulders turned over. And I said, you know, I'm like, hey, how are you doing, buddy? He's like, you know, and after he walked away, I looked at the guy standing next to me, and, you know, the ambassador, I said, did you just see that? Like, do you recognize, like, do you guys pay attention to one another? Like, that kid's sad. That kid's sad, dude. Like, you know, say hi to people, you know, like, let them know they're not invisible. Smack them on the backpack. Say, hey, bud, how you doing? You know, like, and that kid kind of looked at me like, well, you're a crazy lady. And I thought, I probably do seem crazy to you, but like, I can totally tell, you know, the kids that I would want to sit with, the kids who were eating alone at in the cafeteria. That breaks my heart. I am sensitive to stuff like that. And I really feel like part of our society is we have lost manners, respect, integrity, because values and things like that. And it's not intentional, but I think that we're so like, this is great what we're doing. I would not know you guys, you know, if we weren't able to communicate this way and to see one another on podcasts and things. How amazing. So technology is amazing in so many ways. But when you sit a kid behind gaming, behind a computer, a phone, and I feel like when I'm at the school, like it's a rarity for a kid to look me in the eye and talk to me.
Wow.
You know, they don't know, you know, the self-awareness of, you know, saying, oh, you know, and not feeling, they feel awkward, you know, it's a shame. So I think that kindness, compassion, being around one another and saying, gosh, are you okay? You seem sad. Why not just say that? It's not awkward. It's not weird. You could be saving that kid's life because he may be saying, I want to end it. No one will even miss me. No one knows I'm even here. So I think,
I was gonna say the component of that is what is right behind Scott right now that says love. You know, the thing that I find most often in people, we talk about awareness. Awareness is one of the first keys, but the other key is that self-love component. How can we help people, adults, children, like get more in tune with themselves and create that sense of self-love for themselves, not have to depend on other people, outside influences or outside things to make myself feel better? How can we help people start to feel better about themselves and start loving themselves and liking themselves now? Because once they do that, then that other stuff isn't needed. Like Scott said, I have a bigger why. I always sit there and say, if you have a bigger why, you have a bigger how. So that self-love component, what can we do for kids? What can we do for parents right now? We're sitting at home, their kid is depressed, you know, how can we get them to get that self-love component back?
Yeah, that's great that you asked me that, because, you know, the book that I've written, and it is the main thing in there that says, love yourself on the inside. You know, it's about how you look on the outside too. That's baloney. I don't even care. Like, I love fashion. I like to look nice, all of that. But in my book, I say, you know, you can dress up a turd, but it's still going to stink. You got to love yourself on the inside. You got to have a quality person. Who are you? And so I've always been nice and kind to everybody. But the reality of it is, I had an identity of being David's wife and Dalton and Victoria's mom. And so all of a sudden they're grown up and they're about ready to graduate from high school. And I'm like, oh, this is my identity. This is who I am. This is what I'm good at. This is what I wanted to be. I love being a mom. I was hugely involved with them at school. I was hugely involved in the community, still am. But who's Debbie? You know, so I think and it's not like I went off the rails. I'm not saying, you know, we're talking about drug and alcohol and addiction and all of that. But I think what's happening a lot of times is that we're not encouraging our kids. I really worked at doing this. Like, my kids and what the fields that they're in, makes sense. So they already know what they want to be when they grow up, right? And I'm 40 at the time, 48 years old, saying, what do I want to be when I grow up? Because, they just flew away and they're doing their own thing. And so I had to go on figuring out who I was. And when people will say, well, how do you love yourself? How do you, well, it's not a one-stop shop. What I say I do for me to figure out how to love me is going to be a different recipe for you, Christopher, and for you, Scott. So, but what I can say is this: we're all flawed. No one's perfect. So don't put those expectations on yourself that's never going to be matched. Okay. It's just not. So if you can appreciate who you are, and the big one is self-awareness. How many times, like, I can ask you guys questions all day. And then I started thinking, I don't even know what I would answer that. I don't know. For a long time, my joy was in seeing my family happy, my kids doing well. That happened forever, right? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, what brings me joy? What do I do for me that I actually enjoy? And so if you start asking yourself, because it's not going to be, the answer to your question is not going to be my answer. So you need to just pay attention to what you're doing along in the day and the things that give you a little like spark. Oh, that felt good. Well, wait, I like that. I like to do that. I'll have people say, well, I don't like to exercise. That's okay. I didn't like exercise either until I really started investing in it. And I realized that's really good for endorphins. And I've met some really cool people at the gym that are amazing, that give me a different perspective on things. So it's just a matter of you saying, I'm going to find out who I am. I'm going to be okay with the things that I don't particularly like about myself. I can grow and be better, but I'm going to give myself each day, I'm going to do something nice for myself, and I'm going to do something nice for someone else too. And I'm telling you, it works. And I don't want, and the gratitude. And it's funny because I almost like tune myself out sometimes when I'm talking to people. Oh, thank you, Sean. I get, you get a lot of people say the same shit. You should be grateful. You've got, and then I find myself saying it, and I feel like everyone's going to tune me out because I'm sick of hearing myself say it. But the reality is, it's true. It's just like when you're growing up, and if your mom asks you one more time, how was your day? Do you have any homework? You're like, no, I'm running in the opposite direction as fast as I can but it's like, or, be this or be you. It's true. It's true. But we get sick of hearing it. Right. Yeah. But when you accept that you should be, there's always something you can be grateful for. And the people that I have met who make it a daily practice to appreciate at least something in their lives are the ones who are more successful and a happier overall person. It's just a fact.
Gratitude.
Debbie, you just actually said a beautiful thing there that I think that we can all share with everybody right now. And it's the word, like, you're right. There's an abuse of words and abuse of. So we're going to get a seed plant. Somebody at some point is going to say, be grateful. The seed's been planted. It has to naturally digest. And I always say it fertilizes in the heart and then becomes fully embodied. And once it's fully embodied, no one needs to tell us. We're just organically grateful at that point. It's done. We're going to be that. But if we're bombarded here while the seed plant is going on, gratitude, 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 we might repel the idea and it's never embodied. You said another word that's the same word. What if, like, the next time you talk to somebody is we just shift and say, you know what I do is I just appreciate the fact that I have a beautiful family around me and I have kids and I like my old identity and I like my new identity. It just feels nice.
Yeah.
And you just say that and just shift the verbiage. So I think what we want to do is outsmart ourselves and one another by just shifting the verbiage, because we could say 5 people could tell us the same thing and we think the 5th person's a genius. And like, I've never heard that before. You're amazing.
It's so true. Yeah. It's so true. You said that.
So
sometimes it's
be creative.
Yeah. And it's who you get good vibes from. I mean, it's a whole lot of different things. Mm-hmm. It really is like, I love that you said that because it's so true. There have been so many things that have been said that then all of a sudden, like the story about me on flying home from LA, met this lady on the plane, and she basically told me, fear not. Well, how many times have I heard that? I mean, it's a whole story. I'm not
Ooh,
gonna get into it.
yeah.
I've told it like 150 times. I'm sick of talking about it. Like it, but she changed my life. And I've heard so many people say, don't be an old lady sitting in a rocking chair wishing you woulda, coulda, shoulda. You're able,
Congrats.
do it. Go move
Mhm.
your butt. Do what you want to do. And I was like, you're a genius, Scott. Just like you said.
Yeah.
You're a genius. I've heard that 3,000 times, but for some reason,
The right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
and
Right thing at the right
but that's
time.
the fertilization. That's the point. Seed planted, it's sitting here now in your heart. And so every time somebody waters it, eventually it sprouts. And that person was the person who was there for it to sprout.
yeah,
And so
Yep.
it's just pick the water up and pour it on. That's all we're doing. And so in repetition, I think it would even be funny to say, hey, we all know we hate the word gratitude, right? Let's change it to appreciation. And that might be the wake up moment. Somebody goes, you're a genius. It's like, whatever.
yeah.
Like all I'm trying to do is just shift it a little bit so that we process it. And that's the big thing. So there's a guy, Nito Cubain, and he was the founder of Great Harvest Bread Company. He's also the president of High Point University, one of the best motivational speakers you'll ever hear speak. And he said one of the most simple things I've ever heard in an event I was at the National Speakers Association. He was on stage. I was speaking before him. And when he came up, I was sitting in the audience and he said, nothing you ever hear that's purely brilliant will be processed in the first time you hear it. And it's like, duh. And he goes, and the more important lesson, the more times you'll need to hear it, period. So you might think you heard this divine moment from me today. I guarantee you, your kindergarten teacher, your mom, your grandma, your aunt, somebody said it. And here's the thing. I don't care if you want to give me, credit for it, doesn't matter. But just know that message is important and just receive it. And that's it.
That's so true.
Yeah. And we don't need to be the whole, I don't need to be the person who makes you think I'm smart. I'm going to keep repeating what needs to be repeated. If you receive it from me, thank you. If you think I'm an idiot, thank you. It doesn't matter. I'm going to keep saying.
It's totally fine.
You're not an idiot, Scott. You keep coming up with that.
No. But my point is, and all joking aside, a lot of people, it's projection too. Some people might not like a message because they thought they heard it before or whatever. I'm just saying, I love, it doesn't matter where it comes from. Keep repeating that which you know is truth. Gratitude is truth. Love is truth. Speak those things often and every day. And when they resonate with somebody, they resonate.
Well, and
I love what Renee Gordon's saying right here. It says, practicing gratitude is how we acknowledge that there is enough and that we are enough. Brene Brown is magnificent in this. And Hooked on Humanity, Nellie's in the house. She says everything she said resonates completely with my heart. Thank you, Nellie, for being here. We've been going for 47 minutes. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about that book. Talk about the book, what's in it, who's this for, and go away.
Yeah. So the book is all about loving yourself on the inside and looking great on the outside. And the reason it was spurred, like breathed life into it, was because I had started a little side gig business when my kids were in high school because I was seeing the writing on the wall. My current situation and identity.
My job's about to be over.
Yeah, I'm about ready to get fired. So I started this little side gig business, and I have men and women clients, but more women, and it's an image consulting. And so I would go into their wardrobes and find what works for them still and maybe what doesn't. And I can get people ready for events. I can shop for you and find the right outfit. Love doing that. And I could do it in my own time, right? Because I still was all about being at every game that my kids were in, all of that, and working at the school and things of that nature. But what I found was these women that I worked with were beautiful. And they really already looked good. And I started like, why did you hire me? Like and a lot of them, it was more like, I just need you to tell me, does this look good? Is that, and it's like, okay, wait a minute. So it became more and more clear to me that we all go through things like that, whether it's how we think we look or we don't look, or what our identity is as being me, or am I just Dalton and Tori's mom? It kind of goes in different ways. We all have insecurities, and we're all trying to find our way. Let's just say that.
100%.
So what I thought was, and over the years of doing that business, I would make notes and journal. I love to journal, but I would make notes about things. And one day I was just inspired to write a book about loving yourself on the inside, because like I said, you can dress up a turd, but it's still going to stink unless you get it right in here and have confidence and you're self-assured and all that. So I put some short stories together, and I have some quotes that I say, and some pages are handwritten, some stories are typed. It's my personality, and it's a very, very easy read. You can read the whole book in 45 minutes. I did that on purpose for busy mothers, or busy career woman or whatever. That was all. I thought, this book is going to be my personality. I'm going to write a note to my reader that I used to write for my kids and put under the pillow, or put beside their breakfast in the morning, or inside their lunchbox, a little message to say, you are special, you're worthy, have a great day.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've had people say, Debbie, do you really believe all this crap? And every fiber of my being believes in that. I believe, and as long as, even though I had an identity crisis and I was trying to find myself, and I kind of still am, I'm finding my way.
We all are.
I've always known that I'm worthy. And I always want anyone that I'm around, whether that's a friend or a family member or a stranger on the street, to say, and I feel people, like if someone looks sad, you better watch out, because I'm going to come up and say something to you.
I tackle people. I physically tackle people and hug them. Yeah, you can be careful.
My son thinks that I'm wonderful. He just thinks, he's never said one thing. But my daughter, of course, you know, sassafras, she's like, Mom, you scare people. You just run up to people and talk to them like that's, and I'm like, I don't care. That's who I am. And maybe I'm the only one that's talked to that person all day, and they needed it. And if they don't, I can feel that energy too. I'll go away.
I say hi to every single person I see every day. I say hi to them. Walking my son to school for 1.5 miles. Hi, good morning. I try to make everybody's day just a little bit better from having me in their company.
Yeah, there you go. And I love people. I love that. I love that so much. So the book is basically written where it doesn't have chapters. It's just pick it up anywhere in the book and you can read that message for the day.
I love those.
And then that's and I do like little funny. I mean, I am not an artist. Let's just say that. It's funny. And I had to get past it being perfect. Like some days I would write my message. And when I sent it to my publisher, he was like, so these handwritten pages, what are we doing with those? I'm like, we're putting them in there. We're putting them just like that. We're putting them in there. And he's like, yeah, baby. I've never seen this before. I'm like,
you see it now.
They've been so good to me. Biblio Publishing. Let's just give them a shout out. I love it. Fran and Bob. They are freaking amazing. And they supported me and they said, this is a great book. People are going to love it. And it's done very well. I really should market it more than I have. But I've had several book signings that have been amazing. And then Barnes & Noble picked it up. And you can get it on Amazon too. So yeah, that was good.
We'll make sure the link is in the show notes so people can click on it.
Okay. You do what?
So we'll make sure that the link is in the show notes so they can click on it. When they're watching this, they can actually click on it. But speaking of which, we've been going for 53 minutes. Debbie, I'm going to ask you this before we ask you the next question, but will you come back on the show and continue conversating with us?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, because there's so many other ways and areas that I wanted to go off in this conversation. But when I was doing that research and then Scott and I were talking before the show, like, let's go with the youth aspect of it. And I
had no idea what you were going to do. And I was just like,
experience. The Unfiltered experience. Yeah. So thank you for that. And we'll make sure the link is in the show. And where can people get a hold of you?
So, you know, I would love for people to, everything's in there. On debbiesbizcard.com, you click on that and you've got my show, Find It is on there. I would appreciate a follow on YouTube. I'm not doing that great on that. I got to figure out how to get
that's an interesting aspect. I'm almost to 500 followers finally.
Yay, good for you. So, you know, follow the show. I have you're going to be on, Chris. I got to have Scott on too.
Beautiful.
You know, it's really fun for me. to share the amazing people I'm meeting with everyone else and all the listeners. And I learned so much from you guys and all the other people. And so when I'm on my show and I'm just like enthralled listening to their stories, and I'm like, we all need this.
Oh God, yeah.
And the name of my show is Find It for a reason. We're all trying to find something to feel whole and to, you know, is it finding our own identity? Is it finding love, compassion? Is it wealth, success? And then I just bring experts on to say how they found it. So, hey, we're going to find it too.
Amen.
Yeah, but yeah, that's good. Debbie's Biz Card, you can find me on every platform if you click on that.
And spell that out for people who are on the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. So that is www. D as in Debbie, E, B as in boy, B as in boy, I, E as in egg, S as in Sam, B as in boy, I, Z as in zoo, C as in card, A as in apple, R as in Richard, D as in dog.com. DebbiesBizCard.com.
They're coming to you.
Debbie Bettendorf, thank you so much. This conversation, me and Scott always talk about this. Like most of the conversations go by really fast. This went super fast.
I felt like being here. Speed.
Thank you for being brilliant. Thank you for shining your light. Thank you for going out there and attacking these people. The world needs people like us right now, people like you, most definitely. I can't wait to see you in person in a couple of weeks. Thank you. We're going to place you backstage and we're going to finish out the show, but don't go anywhere. And Debbie Bettendorf, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
Thank you. You rock. You rock. She rocks, doesn't she rock?
Rock and roll.
So Scott Goyette, I know this is vibing in your spine and your heart right now. So what are some thoughts, some final closing thoughts that we can send people home with to kind of nail this for people to be able to take some action on it?
Yeah. I mean, everything that was said was, super on point. I like the idea of, of course, we say the same thing over and over, but it doesn't get old. The idea of self-love, going back and defining self-love, that it's an individual process. I like her point of awareness. I like to include something in there. We talk about gratitude, appreciation. That's a massive baseline for self-love. Another point we didn't talk about, but it's very important too, is self-discipline. Yeah. That's a very important part of self-love. What am I willing to tolerate or not tolerate, and make sure that I'm doing the things. If I say I want to get in shape, then go to the gym. If I say I want to be healthier, then eat the right food. Just do those things. But I would tell everybody to really start embracing the idea of self-love, because if you're not able to be at your top form, you can't connect and share your brilliance with others, period. And I know Debbie would subscribe to that. She's right on point. Go read the book. I mean, one of the things that she brought up too that I thought was absolutely beautiful is every single time she's got somebody on her show, here's the deal. If we're all created from source, creator, universe, God, consciousness, whatever we want to call it, so we're created in the image of, we're a fractal of that. Yeah. Every time somebody comes on that show is a divine being with a message for us. So every time you guys watch our show, the Debbies of the world, everybody who comes on, there's something that she said that literally came from source. There's some divine intervention. Listen more intently. When you see somebody who's suffering on the street or doesn't look like they're happy, get weird. Get freaking weird, because the universe needs us to get weird. If you're somebody who is, when the rest of the world is sitting, has stood up and is looking around and going, where's my people? I feel all alone. Should I just sit back down and go back into the masses, or should I stay standing? Find the Debbie, find the Chris, find the Scott, wave, and start hugging those people that need those hugs, because they're all out there. Everyone wants to stand up. We're a little bit scared right now. So if you're the first to stand up, be the leader, be the person, just be that, be love. That's all I can say, Chris. It's as much as I can give right now. Be some love.
All we need is love. Bum, 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 bum. All we need is love. We need love. We need all of you guys, seriously. Amen. And building on what you said, Scott, I mean, I think that's so perfect. And what Debbie was saying as well, each and every one of us has a responsibility, an ethic, moral, value-based responsibility to go out there and make this world a better place every single day. Just one thing. What is one thing you can do out there to lift somebody else's spirits up? Like I said, I walk to school every day, walk my son to school with my wife. I say good morning to every single person. My intention, whether it's the cashier, wherever it is, my intention is that somehow that person goes home at the end of the day and says, wow, this one guy, and I want to be that guy. That one guy just made me laugh. That one guy made me think. That one guy was just like really super cool when everybody else was being an asshole. We can all do that. Just imagine how different the world would be if all of us did that for 2 weeks. All of us did that. And all the
Yes.
hurting people in the world felt like they were seen. All the hurting people in the world felt like they had an opportunity to let down their guard and to be themselves. Just imagine, like, no more fear and no more hate and no more anger. Like, I feel like I'm reciting a John Lennon song, but it's so true. I mean, so many people out there so fucked up in their mind that they think that if they get more shit that they're going to be happier. But at the end of the day, it starts right here in our heart. Like, when you love yourself, I find that I need less and less and less and less and less. I need less money. I need less shit. I don't buy as much stuff anymore. I'm like, I'm just happy. I'm happy to spend time with my family. I'm happy to spend time with you doing the show. I'm happy doing these things because I know they're fulfilling a legacy to make this world a better place every single day. And we have some amazing people in here. So I want to capture this. Tom Jin's been in the house. Thank you, Tom, for being here. He said that Jinism, he goes, your voice becomes powerful when you hear the other person's voice first. Yes, that is beautiful. And thank you for being here, Tom. Got Renee Gordon says, when you have an attitude of gratitude, you wake up and saying thank you. That's from Maya Angelou. Absolutely. You guys know I wake up in the morning and I say what I'm grateful for.
Amen.
And then I set my intentions for the day before my eyes even open. And there it is. Andrew Heston puts up the link. So there you go. You guys can go get it. www.findyourfabulous.net. Findyourfabulous.net. Thank you, Andrew, for being here. And thank you for posting that. Tom also says here, he goes, Debbie, got to have you as a guest on G4.
Yes.
So there you go, Debbie. There's another opportunity for you. We've been on that
Tom
show.
Ginn right there.
And Tom is awesome. Renee comes back to say, this is fantastic show. Love your content. Can't wait to get your book. Yes, I'll follow you on YouTube. Great job. So thank you, Renee Gordon, for being here. Listen, guys, we are here every single Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time without fail. We've been going. This is actually show number 96. Scott, we're reaching our 100th.
Boom, boom, boom.
Our 100th of this show. We actually did the Friday Night Live show before we started this one. So we've been going for a while. Nellie says here, I love this lady. And Ellie says here, we got Nellie and then we got Ellie. She says it's so important to hear one person to say hi at least once a day.
Yes.
100%. 100%. And Nellie says she's going to be following. And Ellie says, thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Ellie. I appreciate it.
Renee Gordon says, wonderful show. Christopher and Scott, looking forward to your next show. Loved your topic. Thank you. We appreciate you, every single one of you. Ellie says here, self-love awareness is so difficult. It is difficult, but it is possible. It is possible. Yeah. One day at a time.
Chris, can I suggest, because I love Ellie and I want to suggest something for her, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Ellie, one of the things that I've really been doing is focusing heavily on verbiage. And instead of saying it is difficult, say it is challenging, and I'm going to take that challenge. If you don't mind.
There you go. There you go. And it's worth it. It is 100%.
Hell yeah, it is. She's got this.
Yes. Mary Kay, the beautiful Mary Kay says we all have the chance to connect with another human every single day. Absolutely. And you are a beautiful human, my dear. Renee Gordon back here says, when we focus on our gratitude, the tide of disappointment goes out and the tide of love rushes in.
Amen.
Kristen Armstrong. I love you, Renee. You are beautiful. I appreciate that. I love quotes.
I'm
a quote
fire
person all day long. Ellie says, a bedtime for me and the kitties. Good night for the kitties. And Mary Kay says, I didn't see you do the Snoop Dogg move. I'm not trying to remember this.
She wants
I sent her a gift. I said I would do it on the show. So I sent her a thing of Snoop Dogg doing something. So I can't remember what it was, Mary, but here I am. I'll dance.
You're just floating.
I
think she wanted you to smoke a joint.
I'll do my stripper move from the chair. There we go. We end on a funny note. So thank you guys all for being here. Of course, as always, go check out the www.theunfilteredexperience.com, www.theunfilteredexperience.com in case you need to see that in person. There it is. And me and Scott love you from the bottom of our heart. If you're watching this live or on the replay, if you have questions, connect with Debbie. Let's go out there and make this world a better place. If you want to get involved in your own schools, in your own communities, contact Debbie, contact Scott. They've already got the avenues of what it is to do that. And just imagine what it is we can do for our youth and the upcoming generation. So we love you guys. We appreciate you. Andrew Heston says, God, love you all. We appreciate you. Go out there, be brilliant. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you next time here on The Unfiltered Experience. Bye.
Love yourself enough to believe in yourself, because yourself is source.